It's been said that hope is not a strategy, and that may be true. However, it's one of the most powerful motivators in the world. On Unyielding Hope, we're going to take life head on, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We talk about and share stories and experiences of the challenges we face and how you can find hope in the midst of some of your most challenging times and circumstances. So sit back, relax, and get ready for your weekly dose of hope. All right, before we get started, a quick word from our sponsors who make Unyielding Hope possible. Hey, are you a learning-based business owner or a real estate professional? Are you ready to exceed your goals? Well, Cornerstone Coaching is here to help. In the ever-changing real estate market, challenges can often leave you feeling stuck. Cornerstone Coaching simplifies real estate, even in the face of difficulties, to get you unstuck and back on the road to your dreams and goals. Are you struggling with market conditions? They provide coaching that empowers you to lead confidently through their proven process. They help you navigate your clients through fears and objections that they might be feeling. The Cornerstone Coaching approach starts with an in-depth analysis of your business gaps, and from there, they craft a step-by-step plan using their time-tested models, systems, and tools. So if you're ready to embark on your journey to success, Cornerstone Coaching is offering a complimentary 1-hour coaching session for the listeners of this broadcast, Unyielding Hope, to uncover the missing pieces in your business and chart a clear path. Contact them today for your complimentary coaching session and let them know that you heard about it here on Unyielding Hope. Take that crucial step towards your brighter future. Hey, and I'd like to thank another one of our sponsors, Ladder Real Estate of Keller Williams Realty in Coeur d'Alene. The mission at Ladder is helping you turn someday into today, and their vision is that their agents, clients, and communities are empowered to dream big, take action, and live a life filled with purpose, passion, and intention. They accomplish this through their core values of responsibility over excuses, putting the right people in the right roles, and giving back generously to their team, their partners, and their community. It's their commitment to continuous growth and innovation in the inland Northwest. So if you're an agent looking to break past your current ceiling or realize that you're looking for leadership, leverage, leads, and culture, reach out to Ladder today. If you're a buyer, seller, or investor in this market and you're looking for a realtor that'll lead you through the process and help you win in this market, reach out to Ladder Real Estate today and they'll connect you with an agent that's a perfect fit for you. You can contact Ladder at www.ladderrealestate.com or you can call them at 208-667-2399. That's 208-667-2399. Ladder Real Estate of Keller Williams, Coeur d'Alene. Give them a call. All right, everybody. It's Terry here with another dose of hope on our Unyielding Hope show and podcast. And I'm so excited to have our guest today, Andrea. Thank you so much, number one, for saying yes. I'm really glad that you're here and that people are going to get to know you. And I also want to say thank you to our sponsors real quick. Drew Hawkins with Cornerstone Coaching. Thank you so much for believing in us and this message. Drew is a great coach. He works with real estate agents. And in this market, when things are tough and they need help, Drew has not only plans, but coaching that will help you no matter what you're facing. And so he's offering a 60-minute free consultation to begin with. And nobody does that. Usually it's 15 minutes or 30. So I want to say thank you. I also want to say thank you to Ladder Real Estate, who believes in what we're doing as well. They're a real estate company here in North Idaho. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, check out Ladder. Or if you're interested in a career in real estate, or you're looking for a team to join, check them out as well. So anyways, thank you to those two for making this happen. I really, really appreciate it. So Andrea, here we are. We've known each other for about how long?
Maybe 6, 7 years, maybe?
Yeah, I'd say it's about 6 or 7 years. And if the truth be known, I probably knew about you long before you knew about me. Because, of course, I'm not an expert in social media, would never claim to be, but I do look at social media and interact with it once in a while. And I saw you and you know what you were doing got my attention. So I began to follow you, and I have followed you, you know, since that time. And so anyway, so you've been, you know, inspiring me for longer than we've known each other. So I want to say thank you for that. And but for those people that don't know you, who is Andrea? Tell us about yourself.
Absolutely. This is a hard question for me to answer. It's something I struggle with. For so long, I've defined who I was by the titles I answer to, the position I held in my career, and the hobbies and interests that I do. So, you know, on the surface, I'm a mom of a few amazing children. I'm a wife. I was a corporate business executive. I was an Ironman triathlete, and someone just who really dreams big and tries to live life fully alive. As my life has progressed and kind of evolved and changed, I find myself over the last year or two really looking inward to answer that and realizing that who I am isn't defined by my function, right? By what I do for a living. Who I am is defined by my values and my belief system. Okay. And so today I would say, you know, I'm someone with great faith. I'm love big. I really value quality time with the people that mean the most to me in my life. I have a very adventurous spirit, and I just really strive every day to dream big and live fully alive.
Yeah, and I can attest that you do that, and that's what's been so inspiring to me is to watch you and follow you, and in some cases participate in some of these events that you're talking about. And so it's been a real joy for me to be able to watch that struggle. You said something just a minute ago that I really love, because we don't hear a lot of people talking about this, but you don't define yourself by the titles or the positions or the roles that you have. It's deeper than that. Tell us what that is again, because I don't want people to miss this.
Yes, because I think as I hit a spot in life where I was feeling honestly a little bit lost as my getting ready to be an empty nester, I stepped away from my corporate career. I'm at a place where I'm not doing full Ironmans anymore. And those are really the big three things I used to define myself as. And so now, you know, I've done this huge process, kind of looking at my next 5 years. And one of the first steps in that was identifying your values and your belief system, because those are things that really steadfast for you. They don't change as frequently as maybe your job or different things like that. And so for me, I really identified that, you know, I'm a person of great faith, that I love big, I dream big, I want to live life fully alive, that I really value quality time with the people that I care about, and that I have an adventurous spirit, and that, you know, is adventurous in, you know, the activities I do, how I think about things, and just kind of it's all encompassing those values are in my life.
Yeah. And you live those values, because again, I've seen that, I've been around that. And again, that's very, very inspiring. It is, you know, when you talk about, you know, I think for all of us, we go through seasons of life, right? We're in high school, we're out of high school. We're in college, we're out of high school. We're dating, we're married. We're married without kids, we're married with kids. Then we're empty nesters. And so we have these seasons in our life. So sometimes our perspective changes, what's important to us changes, and we begin to make those adjustments. And to be able to stop and really think about that, and think about that for yourself, and allow that to reorient you about how you're moving forward. Like you said, you've got a 5-year plan based on all of these things. What I have found is few people will do that. Few people. And so what are some of the results you're seeing because of that? What are you seeing or experiencing in your life because you've done that?
Absolutely. I think it's easier to say yes or no to something because it's looking at what's aligned with your values and your belief systems. And it's really motivating to just be able to look at life differently, I guess. It's kind of freed me from that, of feeling like the sense of loss to, no, I have the strongest belief and know myself better now than I ever did before.
Yeah. You know, and I hope you're taking notes, and I encourage you every time, because Andrea's already dropped a number of things that actually can be life transforming for us. I love this. And so being able to really pinpoint that and how that reorients you and what you engage in. And one of the things I heard you say just a minute ago, which is so powerful, you know what to say yes to and you know what to say no to. And when I talk to people, whether it's in their personal life or in their professional life, one of the things they will say is, I say yes to too many things. It's burning me out. It's robbing time from my family and the people that matter most. I'm not able to do the things that I really enjoy doing and I value because they don't know how to do that.
Absolutely.
And so, and thank you for sharing that. So big. So, so tell me, you were a single mom for a while.
Yes.
How long?
5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years.
Yes.
And what was that like?
I feel like I kind of got to back up from that. So in 2011, I was in a marriage that was very much struggling. I had lost my sense of self, my zest for life, and I feel like I was just really going through the daily motions.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was miserable. And one day I found myself almost having an out-of-body experience. It wasn't something I had planned to do or thought about or contemplated, but I found myself knocking on a neighbor's door that I really didn't know. I would see her running every morning, and I said to her, I want to run a half marathon. And she kind of looked at me like, what? Do you work out? No. Do you run? Not really since college days. And she's like, okay. And when is it? And I told her, it's in September. And this was the middle of June 19th, actually, which to me is a day that I feel like I claimed my life.
Wow.
And so she's like, okay, we can start tomorrow. And I was like, and I probably have to be able to do it at like 4:30 in the morning. She's like, all right. And so she showed up for me at a time that I needed someone to show up for me. And through that process, day one, I could not jog out of the neighborhood. Like, couldn't make it a block. And 2 months later, I completed the Sandpoint half marathon in under the time I had made a goal for, and that just really lit my world on fire. It gave me the courage to tackle life as a single mom, to move to a new state, to enroll in grad school, and sign up for a half Ironman, not knowing how to swim, not owning a bike, never doing a triathlon before. It just changed the realm of what was possible, to think, gosh, in just 2 months, something that seemed impossible to me, I could achieve.
Yeah.
And from there, I feel like it just kind of had this ripple effect in my life of what I was able to do. So probably crazy. A lot of people thought I was to take on full-time work, training for an Ironman, grad school, while a single mom to 2 kids. And during that time, I was writing a blog, actually.
Oh, wow.
And one of the blog titles is Incredibly Selfish or a Priceless Gift to My Children. To do that. And I would look back now and say, what a gift it was, because it changed their mindset at a very young age of what they're capable of doing too, to see mom change her life, take control of it, change it, create the life that I had dreamed of creating. And not only seeing me do that, but seeing me struggle through it. Seeing me fail and get back up and try again. Seeing me finish my first triathlon. I did a sprint try as I was training for the half. And I was the last person out of the water. I was dumping tears out of my goggles, but I kept going.
Yeah.
And and so that I feel like is kind of really where I started truly living my life and creating my life.
So you gave us a date, and it was, did you say June 19th?
June 19th.
June 19th. Where was Andrea at June 19th? I mean, you did this thing where you went to a neighbor that you didn't know, made a request that was really more about you than anybody else. And not only did you make the request, but it's got to be 4:30 in the morning. That's amazing that you did that, right? And that she said yes. But where were you at? What drove you to that?
I think I was at a real low spot in my life, and I knew I had to do something dramatic.
Yeah.
To change things.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it wasn't something I had thought about. And as the words were coming out of my mouth, I was like, what are you saying? What are you doing? Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the point I really want to illustrate here is many of us, all of us at times will come to a point like that. And whether it's relationally or financially or professionally or, in whatever way, we'll all be at a point like that physically, health-wise, we'll all be at a place where we need something. We need something. Call it desperate, call it anxious, whatever, we need something, right? And I think many times we just sit there in that and we don't do anything. And you did something I think is very bold. I think that's bold.
Yes.
And I commend you for that. I have a friend, a dear friend of mine, that was a mentor and continues to be one for me. And he said, always give people a chance to tell you no.
Yes.
Always. And to me, that's what you did. That's what it reminds me of. And so, okay, I'm going to break this down again for those of you who are listening, because I want you to get the full weight of what we're talking about here. Single mom, raising 2 children, going to grad school, working full time, training for a half marathon, and then
a half Ironman,
and
then a full Ironman,
and then a full Ironman.
Yes.
Okay, so she mentioned a sprint triathlon. Okay, and so there's a sprint, there's an Olympic, there's a half, and there's a full. So what is a sprint triathlon?
A sprint is typically like a 500-yard swim, maybe a 14-mile-ish bike ride, and then a 3-mile run.
Yeah. Okay, so you did that. Your goal was ultimately a full Ironman.
Yes.
What's a full Ironman?
A full Ironman is a 2.4-mile swim, 112-mile bike ride, and then a 26.2-mile run. So 146.2 miles total.
So just a full marathon. That's the last
At
event.
the end,
Just a full
yes.
At the end, just a full marathon. The only time somebody will say it like that. And so, okay. So I say that. I wanted her to share that with you because I want you to understand, what her goal was and where she was starting. And tell us again about that experience in that sprint tri.
It was at Radiant Lake, which is like a man-made cesspool, actually. Mm-hmm. You can't even see your hand in the water. I was the last one out of the water, and I remember looking at the first buoy and thinking how far it was, tears in my goggles, and I looked over. There was a smoke that I looked over at my kids because I was ready to swim to the shore and be done. Mm-hmm. And I was like, they're watching. They can't see mom quit.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I was last out of the water. Mm-hmm. I was on a mission not to be the dead last to finish. And so on the bike, I don't know what happened, but I was like possessed. And I kept just every single person I saw in front of me became this target. I was so focused. I can't even count how many people I passed. And then on the run, it was like I just needed to survive the run. And I ended up coming in second in my age group, which, it was a small try, so it's not like there were a ton of people.
Yeah.
But still, going from being dead last out of the water to that, and it hooked me. It was like, wow, this was miserable. I suffered through it. Mm-hmm. But there was something really empowering in that, too, of, just doing something that seems really hard to where you were in that moment of wanting to be done, doubting yourself, and yet you accomplished it. And so.
Yeah. Wow. To go from that, I want to quit, with a 500-yard swim to a full Ironman that starts with a 2.4-mile swim. That just, what do you think that takes?
A lot of grit, a lot of resilience, and just a lot of willingness to fail, but keep trying, to keep getting up, and discipline. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love what you said there. You said you got to be willing to fail, and I think we read a lot of books, we listen to a lot of motivational speakers, and they all talk about if you want to succeed more, fail more, get out there and fail. But the truth is, that's true. Okay, what they're saying is true, but the truth is none of us want to fail, and failing impacts us. And we have a choice to make at the end of that failure. Right? We're either going to give up. We're going to tell ourselves we can't do it, or do what you did. And your motivation was your children. You did not want them to see you quit. Why was that important?
Kids are so impressionable, and I feel like it was a hard time in their life. There was a lot of change going on, and I wanted them just to learn to believe in themselves, that they could do what they wanted to do. Yeah,
and I think today, in the just in the environment and the culture that we live in today, I don't know honestly how much that's happening to younger people. This modeling of hanging in there and being tenacious and full of grit and not giving up and falling down and getting back up and keeping going. there's people that do that, but we need way more people to be examples to this younger generation that's how you move forward in life. And so you gave your kids a tremendous gift. You
Yes.
really did. And I know a little bit about your kids because, again, I follow you and stuff like that. And I know your son, he is a sophomore?
He just turned 20. He is a junior in college because of running start. So he was able to,
that's right. Yeah.
Be in a higher level. Yes, he is a realtor 2 weeks after graduating from high school, because that's a requirement to get your real estate license. You have to have a GED or a diploma. He got his real estate license in Washington.
Yeah.
Once he sold his first house, he used the commission to invest in an apartment complex, and he's in college double majoring in finance and economics with a minor in marketing, and has huge goals where I'm like, wow.
Yeah. I've been following you, and you know that's not a surprise to you, but I've watched that, and I just watched your son, and I don't know how many people are out there just turning 18, getting their license, going to business, knowing that they're going to college. In a lot of cases, they would just go straight into real estate and not get their education. They wouldn't do both because that's not easy.
It's not.
I mean, being a real estate agent is not easy. And there's times where it's easier than others, right? But right now is a time where it's not easy.
Absolutely.
And so, to do both of those, man.
So I will say, during the time when I was, single mom, grad school full-time, training for Ironman, working full-time, I would not have done any of those things on their own as well as I could doing them all together, because I was so incredibly busy that I didn't have time to procrastinate, right?
Right.
Everything was scheduled. And I remember, being on the bike trainer, listening to a book on tape for an econ class for the MBA program I was in, or rewatching the video of the lecture while I'm riding or on the treadmill and things, just that multitasking. And my daughter was in first grade, and she was in resource for reading and math and spelling. And that summer, she said her goal was to be in the advanced program, to go from resource room to the advanced program. She was going to learn to read. And she somehow convinced a teacher at her school to start a summer book club for her and some of the other kids that were struggling too. And she made her goal. I mean, come second grade, she tested and got to be in the advanced placement classes. And now, she's a senior in high school / sophomore in college, currently applying for colleges, getting accepted everywhere, and planning to be pre-med.
Yeah. Oh,
and my
wow,
son, through the whole process of me doing Ironman in fifth grade, he was having some health things, and he needed a goal that he was to kind of get healthy for. And his goal was to climb Rainier. I don't know many fifth graders that would say, hey, I want to climb Rainier.
Right,
or parents crazy enough to say, okay, here's how you're going to train. And so the summer between 6th and 7th grade, we got a guide, and we climbed Rainier together.
Wow.
And so I feel like that's where that priceless gift to my kids, they really learned that, hey, they're capable of doing really hard things if they want to, if it's important enough to them, right? And they want to work hard and dedicate the time to it. And
Yeah, and like you said, if it's important enough, and the thing is like, I have a friend of mine, and he followed my Ironman journey, and he was very he was very encouraging and all that kind of stuff. And I said, you should do one, and he said, I don't want to do one. And that's okay. And I think it's what you said. If it's important to you, if that's the thing, and it may not be the thing that other people want to do, but if that's what you want to do, and I really believe that you are such, that moment where you said, I'm not giving up. My kids are watching me, was just another note on their heart that said, you can do hard things, don't give up, dream big. And what a gift that you gave them. School didn't come easy to you, did it?
No, not at all. I am dyslexic. School was a huge struggle. I was in resource room as a young kid. I remember in 10th grade, we took a standardized test, and it said I had a 4th grade reading level and a 3rd grade spelling level. Yet I was getting C's in my classes. I worked really hard for those C's in my normal mainstream classes, and they once again wanted to put me back in remedial classes. And my teachers were like, no, she's being successful. And they saw the determination I had and let me stay in the main classes. But yeah, school was really hard for me. it was a huge fear if I would get called on in reading. I remember in like history class where you'd have to read a paragraph out loud. And I would count ahead to know which paragraph I needed to read to try to practice it because I didn't want to get made fun of for having to sound out words or not knowing what a word was and things. So that school was hard. You know, I had one teacher tell me that kids like you don't go to college, get a different plan. But yet I was raised with a family that education was very high valued. My mom's a teacher, and that was the expectation. It wasn't, hey, you can go to college after high school. It was just the natural progression. And so.
Yeah, wow. You know, I struggled with that myself, and I know exactly what you're talking about, being embarrassed, being humiliated, having people tell you you're not very smart and college isn't for you, and think about something else. And I remember how that can impact you. You know, I gotta be honest, I didn't have a lot of role models growing up. You know, my father left us. My mom worked as a waitress to raise 5 kids, double shift. So there was nobody ever home. So I didn't really have a role model. And so, but man, what a gift you've been to not only your children, but I'm sure their friends too. You know, this always spills over into who they know, right? And all that as they watch your journey. And so you had I was going to say you had some health challenges, but you actually still have them, right?
I do, very much so.
And tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was kind of at the peak of by fitness level, you know. I remember in 2015 I did Coeur d'Alene Ironman, finished just I think like 13 hours and maybe 13 minutes, something like that. I can't remember the exact time. And started training for another one and started just having some weird health stuff going on. Had several wrong diagnosis as things. And it was like, how can I have all these different systems in my body, organs and stuff having issues? Like everything didn't seem connected. Finally, I went to a specialist in Seattle who ran a ton of tests, diagnosed me with a mast cell disease, which mast cells are in your white blood cells, and they are made to really protect your body. They're kind of like the cops for your body to protect your immune system and from different invaders and stuff. But mine don't work right, so my body makes way too many of them, and then they attack all my organs.
Oh, wow.
And so, I mean, they attack my lungs, my GI system, my heart, musculoskeletal, nervous system.
Wow. That's a lot. I mean, just hearing that is a lot to hear, let alone live. What is it like to live with that?
You know, every day looks a little bit different. On a regular basis, you know, maybe daily, weekly, I could experience anything from anaphylactic to severe breathing issues, muscle and joint pain, to tremors, which is like the whole right side of my body will just start shaking. It looks like a seizure, really. For a long time, we thought they were actual seizures. The medical doctors and stuff did. To vision issues, memory issues, brain fog, focus, a lot of things.
Yeah. You know, and again, you know, I would never know that unless you told me, right? But you live with that daily, and you don't know what to expect or how that's going to show up on any given day. And yet you keep pressing on. What drives you?
You know, it comes down to, you know, when my time here on earth is done, I don't want to look back and say, I wish I had done this or that. I don't want to have those regrets. I want to be able to look back and say, wow, what an incredibly rich, fulfilling, amazing life I have lived. And so, it would be a lot easier probably to say, okay, I'm done doing triathlons. I'm done running. I'm done hiking, living this really active lifestyle. But that would be letting my health condition steal my passion and purpose from me and my joy. And I refuse to let it do that. So in 2017, shortly after I kind of went down this road of getting diagnosed, I decided I was going to do another Ironman, my second one at that time, because I wanted to do it while I still could and kind of quit, if you will, stop doing them on my own terms. And so for that one, I decided I wanted to do it for a purpose bigger than myself. So I raced for Smile Train, which is a charity that I know is kind of dear to you now too. And during that Ironman, things didn't go as great as I wanted them to. I had to race with a catheter.
Oh, man.
Which can be a challenge and creates a lot of different things for a race. And then I had what at the time they were thought was a seizure on the bike as well. And I remember medical trying to pull me, and I'm saying, no, I'm not going to quit. I want to do this. And so, I had to kind of wait it out on the second loop of the bike. Ultimately, I finished in like just barely over 13 hours.
Wow.
And it was amazing. And yet, for some reason, I decided I still wanted to do yet another one. I think that gave me the sense of like, oh, wow, I can still do these things, at that level. So then in 2019, I did my third one with my husband. And it was really important to him that we did one together. We had always done the same races, but not truly together. We were out doing our own races.
Yeah.
And so in 2019, we did one like next to each other. We stuck together the whole entire time. And it was much, much slower because of my health stuff had, kind of progressed, but I still finished with a lot of time left on the clock. Yeah. And to do that together, to know how competitive he is.
Yeah, right.
And to sacrifice that to share the experience with me, knowing that that truly would be my last full. I was like, okay, I've done 3. Like, I have nothing more to prove when it comes to that aspect.
Yeah. Okay, you're a fighter. Okay, and I loved a minute ago when you said, I refuse to live my life full of regret. And that's that fighting language, that fighting spirit in you when you have a very clear picture of what matters most in your life.
Yes.
And who matters most. And you have committed yourself to doing that. And that has allowed you, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that has allowed you to overcome all of these challenges and still live with these medical challenges and keep going.
Yes, very much.
Oh, man.
There's this doctor.
Come on.
There's a doctor, Lisa Bliss. I know she at one point lived in Spokane. I think she's maybe Tri-Cities area now. But she's this very teeny petite person. And she had heard about this person down in California who went from Badlands to the top of Mount Whitney.
Oh.
Self-supported, pushing a cart that weighed hundreds of pounds. So all the water, all the food, all the gear they would need for this. And it's like 140 some miles to mountains through that whole process. And she did a TED Talk. And in the TED Talk, she says, it's one thing to say, what would you do if failure wasn't an option? But then what's the point of doing it?
Right.
If anyone could do it.
Yeah.
And so her big thing is, what would you do if failure was probable? Like, it's highly likely you're going to fail at this. Would you still try it? And so she saw this and wanted to do it. And people said, no, women can't do it. There's no way. And at this point, only one person had ever achieved it with multiple attempting it. And so she got a wheelbarrow, she talks about, and put 200 pounds in it and tried to push it. And she pushed it a couple feet, and then it fell over. And to her, that was the glimmer of hope that it was possible.
Wow.
And she did it successfully in like 3 days and some hours. She was able to do it. And so for me, like that, hearing her TED Talk was like, had a huge impact on me, I guess, of just kind of changing that thought process you have of, okay, would I do this if, hey, there's a high chance I'm going to fail at it, but there's this very slim chance that I can achieve it. And that for me is like that sliver of hope that, yes, you can do this. Hey, let's try it. And there's nothing wrong with failing, because I'd rather fail trying something than to sit on the couch and watch someone else achieve what I wanted to set out to do.
Yeah. Okay. I hope you're taking notes, because there's so much here. So, going back to when we first started, there is all about of knowing what truly matters and what's important, to having a dream big enough to challenge you and change you, to know that you're modeling something for other people, that in a sense you're instilling in them a work ethic, that what happens when your dream is so big that it can help you overcome insurmountable odds. Getting knocked down, getting back up, but not just once, over and over and over again. And having that attitude that I refuse to live my life with regret. I'm going to do these things. I hope you're taking notes, because this is we want this to be practical as well as inspirational and hope-filled. We want it to be practical, and this is practical. And the thing that you just mentioned is having people that inspire you, right? That like this, Lisa?
Lisa Bliss.
Lisa
yes.
Bliss, like Lisa Bliss, listening to her and how that inspired you and gave you what you needed, that extra little spark to go for it, And so tell me about the other people that have played significant roles in your life that have impacted you.
Absolutely. I think you don't have to look far to find people in your life that have overcome really incredible things. And so whenever, was it during triathlon or just anything in life, I kind of use that draw from, I guess, to be inspired and be like, continue to push through. Yeah. And so in a couple different Ironmans and different other things I've done in life, I find myself thinking about, like, I have a friend who has very severe asthma, and she wanted to be an Ironman. She was the last person to finish, and she held up a sign saying, asthma can't win, right? And it's like, if she can do this, I can do it.
Yeah.
Or, you, Terry, with your heart surgery, then cancer battle, and months later going and doing, this Priest Lake Tri. Like, that is so just inspiring. Or I look at my husband, he was homeless, and now he is, running the regional office for his company. Yeah. And I just feel like there's so many people out there that have overcome so much harder, bigger, hairy, scary things. And if they can overcome that, gosh, I can overcome doing X, Y, or Z, right? Yeah. It almost becomes silly than whatever I'm struggling with compared to their own challenges and what they've overcome. So for me, like, I find myself really drawing from those people, their energy, their inspiration to continue to push myself and push through whatever it is that I'm faced with. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I want to have your husband on the show at some point. So Bobby, be ready, because that truly is an inspirational story. You guys are, your stories together so powerful, and you guys touch a lot of lives, and a lot of people are inspired by both of you. So we're going to have him. Okay, Bobby, come on. But anyways, you don't have to look far. There are people all around you, and what you focus on expands, right? That's I didn't come up with that. I heard it. What you focus on expands. So when you're looking for that, you'll see that. You'll find people, and so you don't have to look far. And it's it's very inspirational. My mom, was like I said, worked 7 days a week as a waitress, double shifts to raise 5 kids. Didn't make a lot of money, depended on tips. She never complained about her life circumstances. She never complained that she never got a dime from my dad. She never talked bad about my dad, even though he was incredibly abusive in every way and was really abusive to her. She never complained. And she's a hero. She never gave up. She didn't complain. When I think about I have it tough, I think of my mom. And I think I cannot be woe is me. I just can't. And that's what you were talking about. Is there other people out there going through challenges similar, maybe some not as severe, but still similar? Every story is different, and how it impacts them is different. And some more severe, maybe some less severe. Everybody's got challenges in every way. And so to be able to have people that you can think about and just be inspired by is really important. And I know that your faith is important. What role does your faith play in all this? I feel like we're here for a limited number of time, and that this isn't the end. And so that gives me hope, right? Like, whatever you're experiencing, you're not going to always be going through that struggle. And so my faith really, especially as my health has progressed, I feel like my faith has gotten a lot stronger. Yeah. Because it's easy to say, oh, woe is me. Why are you doing this to me? I've got to trust that, God has a plan for me. I might not know it. I might not understand it. I might not know why I'm being tested with this or diagnosed with this health issue, but it's part of his plan, and I've got to trust that. Yeah. Yeah, part of his plan. And that's where that faith comes in. And it's so, so important. What would you say? I mean, you've told us a lot already, but if you had maybe a life lesson or two that you could share, with the people that are listening right now, what would it be? That wherever you are in life, whatever your situation is, whatever you're navigating, being faced with challenges, this isn't the end of your story. That, like, I could easily have said, hey, I've got this health condition. not going to race, not going to be active.
Right.
You win, give it up to it, right? Period. I've got this health condition. However, I have this whole like philosophy of never put a period where God intended a comma. So I have a health condition, comma, but I'm still going to live life on my own terms. And so knowing that just one decision can change your life. And so each day to really, you know, if you don't like where you're at, take time to sit down and imagine the life of your dreams. No limitations on it, right?
Yeah.
I talk a lot with my kids and people about having God-sized dreams. So bigger than me being able to achieve something is, but it is in those big God-sized dreams that we really grow and we reach our potential and continue then to be able to grow.
Right.
And so sit down, brainstorm, dream about what is the life of your dream, where you're living your purpose and your passion. What does it look like? What is it going to take to get there? You know, and it might take months, weeks, years to get there, but then every day, what is something you can be doing to move yourself in that direction? Like, I couldn't run the block out of the neighborhood at first, but yet I wanted to do an Ironman, right?
Yeah.
That seemed impossible, but there were a lot of steps, you know, in a year and a half or so time frame that it took, I guess actually several years from the beginning to when actually doing one to get there, and not thinking that change is going to happen overnight. It's so easy to see someone and see what they've accomplished, what they're doing, and think, wow, I wish I could do that. That, like you said earlier, Terry, when we were just chatting before this, you know, you just assumed it came easy to me. And yet it didn't come easy. You know, it took a lot of hard work, a lot of determination, dedication, and being intentful to each day take steps to get closer to the life of my dreams and what I wanted to achieve.
Yeah. You know, really thinking through the life that you want, and don't put limitations on you, right? Yourself. Right. What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to experience? You know, and then, you know, what I heard you say is you want this, when you do that, you have this big dream, you have this big goal here, but what you focused on is what's next, right?
Yes.
Because this isn't next, right?
Right.
It's, I gotta make it out of my neighborhood. That's my first step.
Yes.
I got to make it out of my neighborhood. And then you go from there. And it doesn't come easy. I mean, it's a lot of work. And like you said earlier, it's failing, and it's, you know, refusing to quit. It's refusing, you know, to give up. When we were talking earlier, and in the notes that I sent you prior to this, you had mentioned the importance of not comparing yourself to somebody else. Tell us about that.
You never know what someone is going through. And so as I was having some health stuff and I was doing Coeur d'Alene half Ironman, someone that I knew ran by me and she yelled at me, "I thought you were fast. I guess I was wrong." And those words hit me so hard. Like, I'm getting emotional just thinking about that, because it really made me realize how quick we are as humans to judge people, to compare ourselves to people, compare ourselves to who we were yesterday. Or a year ago from now. And, you know, I could easily go and run and just beat myself up on a run saying, you know, being, oh gosh, I'm on 11:30, 12-minute pace, or I'm walking most of this mile, where I used to run a half marathon at like a 7:45 pace, right? And feel like I'm failing. But by just getting out there and doing it, even if I'm way, way slower and it looks way different, I'm winning, right?
Yeah.
Every single time I get out and be active, it's a victory.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I could choose just to sit and let life, you know, pass you by. So even just the fact of getting out there, you're doing better, beating the majority of people in life.
Absolutely. The way you said it was not here, but you said it in an earlier conversation and in our notes was, I'd rather be a couch tortoise than a couch potato.
Yes, absolutely. I fully embraced that. Like, I struggled mentally for a while. Every time I'd go for a run, I'd come home just so frustrated because it'd be so much slower. Well, I used to run in this pace, or I used to be able to run a 5K without walking, you know, and my husband would say to me, but you still did it. You still did the 5K, right? Don't compare yourself. And so I've kind of embraced the whole, yes, I'd rather be a tortoise than a couch potato. I'd rather come in dead last than be sitting on the couch watching other people do what I want to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. And, you know, I talk about this whole, you know, philosophy of living called own it, right? Be responsible, and don't make excuses. Don't blame others. Don't compare yourself, and don't complain. Even though I believe that, I can get caught up in that in times. And I want people in my life that will say, "Hey, Terry, and point it out in a kind way, right?
Right.
In a kind way, in an encouraging way, in a way that demonstrates that they love me and encourage me and support me and all that kind of stuff. But, I don't want to have that kind of mindset. But sometimes that's our initial reaction. We just need people like that can pull us back and say, are you comparing? Are you complaining? And just really help us with that. So I'm so glad that you shared that with me and you shared it here with everybody there. Comparing your life with somebody else, your circumstances with somebody else, your struggles, your whatever is just, it doesn't do any good and it doesn't help you move forward at all. It's negative. It's a weight, and we don't need any more weight than necessary, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us what you're doing now.
Career-wise?
Yeah, career-wise.
Okay, so career-wise, I kind of do two things. Number one is I have a business, A Friday, where I help businesses and individuals through business development, leadership consulting, really align their passion and purpose for their company or their life. And then I also lead an international glamping business where we partner with people to help them thrive in the outdoor hospitality industry.
Wow. Yeah, both of those sound like a lot of fun and very purposeful in terms of helping people achieve more, whether it's personally or professionally, right? And so, man, that's great. So listen, if you might be listening and you're resonating, with Andrea, and you're thinking, I would love to talk to her more. I'd love to reach out to her. She would be somebody I'd like to have in my business to speak to the people that I work with, or maybe it's your industry at a conference or whatever. We're going to put her information, in the notes here. But just tell us, how could someone get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Shoot me an email, Andrea@afriday.com, and it's AFRYEDAY, play on our last name. So
yeah, play on your last name. I love that. And so and if they want to find you on social media, can they do that?
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Instagram.
Okay, so you can find her there. And I would encourage you, if you want to follow somebody that is real, is authentic, will share challenges and inspire you along the way, then you should follow her, and because she's very inspirational. I've been impacted by it, personally, and it's one of the reasons why you're here today. And I wanted you guys to meet her big time. So, again, we don't know what our listeners are going through. We don't know what their circumstance is, and it may not be them. It may be somebody they know, a friend, a family member, something like that. If you had a few things that you could share with them as we close down this interview, what would you say to them?
Your circumstances don't define you. And that if there's something you want to do and it's important enough, do it. And know that it's okay if it looks different than what maybe you envisioned or how it used to be.
Yeah.
That just go and do it. You're capable of doing it. When I was a little kid, I heard my mom, and this has been something really impactful in my life, introduce my sisters, and I'm the youngest of three girls, and she pointed at my older sister saying, this is the smart one, the middle, this is the athletic one, and she pointed at me and said, this is Andrea. What she lacks in ability, she makes up for in drive and enthusiasm. And for a long time as a child and through high school and into college, that meant I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't athletic enough, I wasn't good enough. Somewhere along the way, how I framed those words in my head changed to all of a sudden, I don't need to be the smartest person. I don't need to be the most athletic person. I just need to have a lot of drive and enthusiasm, and I can accomplish whatever I set my mind to. And that has served me very well in life, having that mindset.
Yeah, it has, and it is. And I know there's more to come. I love that. I love that we ended on that. That's so powerful. It's so rich. Again, I would love it if you would put your comments in right below this video. Tell us your ahas. What were some of your ahas as Andrea was sharing her story and in her process, what she's been through? What are some of the questions that you have still that maybe you're still wondering? What are some of the things that you're taking that maybe you're going to do, right? Some of the things that you're going to apply in your own life. And we would love to hear that. Also, if there's somebody that you know that we need to know to have here, please introduce us. We love to find inspirational stories that can help others and bring hope to others, just like Andrea's done for you. And so if you know someone, let us know. You can email us. You can respond, comment with that information, and we will follow up. We would love to get to know them. Andrea, I have looked forward to this. You were on my list when I first thought of doing this, and so I'm so glad this day finally came to have you on Unyielding Hope, because to me, you're such a great example of that. And you not only talk it, you live it, and you demonstrate it. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Terry. It's such an honor to be on here, and I feel really humbled that you asked me to be your guest.
All right. Well, listen, we've got a lot more life to live, and so we're going to go out and live it, right?
Absolutely.
We're going to go do it. Hey, listen, once again, a shout out to Drew Hawkins and Cornerstone Coaching, as well as Ladder Real Estate. I want to thank you guys again for making this show possible. Until next time, this is your dose of hope. Share it with somebody. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to get all of our notifications when we post something. And so anyways, until then, we will see you. Again, we'd like to thank Cornerstone Coaching for their support of Unyielding Hope. So if you're a learning-based business owner or a real estate professional and you're ready to exceed your goals, Cornerstone Coaching is here to help. The changing real estate market challenges can sometimes leave you hopeless or even stuck. And that's where Cornerstone comes in. Their coaching simplifies the real estate process, even in the face of difficulties, to get you unstuck and back on a clear path to reach your goals. So if you're ready to embark on your journey to success, Cornerstone Coaching is offering a complimentary 1-hour coaching session for the listeners of Unyielding Hope to uncover the missing pieces in your business. Contact him today for your complimentary coaching session and let them know that you heard about it here on Unyielding Hope. Take that crucial step towards your brighter future. Hey, thanks a lot for tuning in. You know, I'd love to hear from you, so talk to me. Share your questions, your stories, your circumstances, and most importantly, share your experiences of Unyielding Hope. And please share this with your friends, your family, or anyone else that you think could benefit or be encouraged. I'm Terry Gurno, and this has been Unyielding Hope. Thank you for tuning in.